Welcome to Vegan Food and Living's Simply Vegan podcast with me, Holly Johnson, and my co-host, Molly Pickering. Each week, we discuss the latest vegan news, taste test the newest vegan products, and speak to some of the leading names in veganism about everything from nutrition, immunity, and weight loss to recipe ideas and alternative proteins. We also answer your questions each week, so don't forget to email us at simplyvegan@anthem.co.uk. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. So first bit of exciting news is that Molly and I met in the real life for the first time last week.
In real life. We exist. Holly exists.
It was so fun, wasn't it? So it was basically Anthems, which is the company that runs the Simply Vegan podcast and Vegan Food and Living and loads of other amazing magazines. So it was our 19th anniversary. Birthday.
Birthday, since the launch.
Yes. And so we went to the Bird in Bath, didn't we? Which
oh my gosh, it was beautiful. I forget how amazing Bath is. And this hotel, it was just incredible. Yeah, it was fancy.
It's so cool. They've got little pods in the garden made from glass, haven't they? And loads of really nice cocktails. What cocktails did you have?
Oh my gosh, I had what was it called? I got really confused because it had beetroot in it, but it was white peach fuzz. Maybe not white peach fuzz.
I reckon it was fizz. Yeah,
it was probably the fizz. That's me having too many of them. Oh my gosh, it was so nice. We have some beetroot, and then it was your fault because you got me on the wine then in the end. Yes.
Something you need to learn about going out with me. It never ends well. But we were pretty well behaved, weren't we? The only annoying thing was that I had to run for the last train. So we just sat down to get some food because we hadn't eaten and we'd had quite a lot of wine and beetroot cocktails and everything else. Very healthy.
Very healthy. Whole food.
Yeah, so we sat down to eat at, was it called the Coconut Tree?
Coconut Tree, yeah. Amazing Sri Lankan tapas style restaurant. Is beautiful.
Oh, I was so gutted. I literally ordered my drink, and then you were like, "What time's your train?" I was like, "It's 9
minutes." In 10 minutes time.
And we had to leave, literally running down the street to the train station in Bath to get on the train for like 2 hours to Dorchester with no dinner. So I was really sad and ended up talking to half the people on the train and accosting a man who had some bananas. And literally that's all I had for dinner.
I think basically what we're going to have to do is you're going to have to come to Bristol and stay in a hotel or whatever. You can even stay at my house, and we will just have to go out and taste all of the lovely cocktails and all of the lovely food. I think that's what we're going to have to do.
Yeah, like a restaurant crawl. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Book me in, Molly. Book me in.
You're booked.
So, okay, how is the whole food plant-based challenge going? This is something we're running for the next 30 days. Molly and I are taking part in. We're getting help from like nutritionists and dietitians and all the experts as we go through the 30 days. So, yeah, how do you get on apart from our little night of a little bit too much alcohol?
A little blip. I feel like I have been, can we say 80% whole food, 80% whole food plant-based. That's what I've been.
Yeah.
I've had a few slip-ups. Basically, I've been changing my bedroom over. So boring. Changing it over, doing like a bit of a revamp. It's not boring, actually. It's really exciting. And I was doing... I'm so excited. I spent 6 hours doing that on Saturday. And then I just ended... Yeah, it was a lot. It was dirty. So... I just had like a quick, I had a pizza. There we go. I had a pizza. We'll deal with it.
You said it. Where was the pizza from?
Oh, Pepper Jam.
Well, my major slip up was pizza as well, because on the way back on the train, I had the banana and it was just not filling the hole. So I ordered a Domino's to arrive when I got off the train, and my husband picked me up in the car, and I literally just started scoffing the whole pizza.
You've got to do it. We're human at the end of the day.
I was
and
just
then
so hungry.
Straight back on it. Exactly. You know, it's fine. Everything is all about balance, and that's what we're about. We're not robots.
No. What were the good things then that you found about it?
About the whole
about eating whole food over the last week?
Energy, honestly, just so much energy, so much alertness. When I ate that pizza on Saturday, I felt it so much on Sunday, and it sounds quite preachy. Yeah, it's so strange. I think the days before I had been really alert, like I'd been waking up, I'd been doing like training sessions in the morning, like felt so on it. And then come Sunday, I don't know whether it was a mixture of just being tired or whatever, but I noticed it.
Wow.
And again, it's just, I get such a buzz from cooking and like creating meals and stuff, and you don't have that with quick, easy food. As delicious as it is and as convenient as it is, it's important to, you know, get inspired and get in the kitchen.
Yeah. I've just having it at the back of my mind has really helped me, actually, because usually when I'm pretty healthy most of the time. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of like sometimes after, so I'll have like a big salad for lunch, and I'm not just talking lettuce leaves, I'm talking like everything in there, you know, bulgur wheat or sweet potato or whatever I've got sort of left over in the fridge. And afterwards I just sort of think, oh, I kind of fancy a cup of coffee and like maybe just a bit of chocolate. And then I have a little bit of chocolate, then I'm like, just a little bit more. So it kind of stopped me doing that, because I sort of thought, well, okay, so I can't have the chocolate. What can I have instead? So I was having maybe like a date with some peanut butter, which was really good. Really nice medjool dates, like, you know, not the sort of really, some of them are just a bit dry and
sticky
horrible
ones. Yeah, they're not very nice. I've been having banana and peanut butter for breakfast, and that's been delicious. It's been so nice. I've even got my boyfriend on it. He loves it. Yeah,
I've been cooking some amazing things actually from my favorite cookbook, which is Rebel Recipes by Nikki Webster. I interviewed her in season 1, actually, episode 3, the third episode I'd ever done. So have a listen, but I apologise for the sound quality and the fact I didn't know what I was doing. But
you've grown.
Yeah. Thank God. She's so lovely. She's so down to earth, but just the most amazing recipe creator and food photographer. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll know her style is just beautiful. So I made her spinach crepes and basil pesto. And what was the other thing? Caponata.
What's that?
It's like I'd compare it to maybe like ratatouille. It's kind of like chopped up roasted aubergine with like cherry tomatoes, olives, onion, garlic, and toasted pine nuts on top. So that
my goodness, wow.
Yeah, it was so nice. I wanted to post it on Instagram, but it just looked really ugly. So
this is the thing. I did that reel. So like the veg showcase thing that we did. Can I just say, by the way, I hate cooked peppers with a passion. I don't know what it is. I think I just love raw peppers so much. This crunch, they're so fresh. And whenever I eat them, I've always had crap stuffed peppers.
Yeah.
I
know what you mean. I feel like us picking peppers for the first week was not the best, because
No, it wasn't.
Your reel is great, though. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't do much of a recipe reel if you were just eating raw peppers, would you? And your recipe,
I could really do. I can just do a reel of me eating a whole pepper. If that's what the people want, I'm happy to
give it to them. Well, if you want to see Molly's reel, head over to Simply Vegan Podcast on Instagram. I'm going to do mine this week because I attempted it, and every time I just got interrupted by children and dogs and everything else going on in life. I did do a pepper-based recipe, though. It was from my Leon Fast Vegan Cookbook, which I absolutely love as well. I lent it to my friend, and she went out and bought it straight away afterwards. And the same same with the Rebel Recipes Cookbook, actually. Whatever I lend her, she's like, I love this so much. She wasn't... She wasn't vegan, and she's still not fully vegan, but she's trying. Yeah, over the last year, it's been amazing, and it's lovely because we sort of inspire each other with recipes. So, I cooked this roasted red pepper pasta dish, and it was just kind of like roasting off the peppers, and frying up some onion and garlic, and then kind of blitzing it up in the blender. So that the children don't know that the peppers are in there, because my son doesn't like cooked peppers either. It obviously must be a thing.
It is a thing, isn't it? I think that's kind of like similar to what the stew that I did, the red pepper stew, is just blitz it up, put as much roasted garlic and everything else in there as you possibly can. Just hide the flavour.
Oh, love garlic. I also made some beetroot hummus this weekend, and I had that with some leftover spinach crepes for breakfast on the beach on Sunday morning. We went for a swim.
You are just the ultimate goal. I love it.
Everyone loved it, and then they went home and made the beetroot hummus. This is why I sort of feel the pressure whenever I go anywhere. I'm like, got to make something really tasty and amazing so that other people are inspired and then want to go vegan too. So
I was listening to your interview that you did last week, and it was like, what dips are you going to bring this week, Holly? Whenever you have like family do's, and I just want you to bring me all of the dips.
I just love a dip. They have so many uses, don't they? So like I said, we've got some nutritionists supporting us on our 30-day challenge. And this week I spoke to Dr. Leila Dehghan about a couple of issues that we've had or things that we wanted to know. So my question to her was that my nails are quite brittle and they keep breaking off. Now, I did have those gel nails done in the summer. I got led down the path by a friend who was like, oh, they're so amazing. And then I had mine done. And mine just keep breaking off as they're growing back. So I don't know if it's because of that. I like to think that's why. However, I would say my nails are a bit flaky and weak. So this is what she had to say.
Brittle nails are actually very common, especially among women. I think 1 in 5 in general actually complain of brittle nails. And like, any other symptom in medicine, just saying that you have soft and weak nails, it is just a symptom of something else. And it can be, an autoimmune disease. It can be an inflammation like psoriasis, which is quite actually common. But it can also just be due to poor diet, some micronutrient missing actually in your diet. So I'm going to actually focus on that now. And the most common nutrient deficiency that actually can cause brittle nails is iron deficiency. Then obviously calcium or even protein deficiency can cause that. But we know protein deficiency is extremely rare. I mean, let's say I have never seen any in my years as a doctor or as a nutritionist. And even low calcium levels are not common. And another nutrient that can actually cause brittle nails is actually having a chronic high selenium levels. But that is more a problem for meat eaters and also for those vegans who consume a lot of Brazil nuts. I'm not saying that we shouldn't eat Brazil nuts because they are actually a good source of selenium, but 1 or 2 a day is enough. We don't need to overdo it. Now, obviously, if somebody says they have brittle nails, what I usually tell them is to go and see their doctor, see their GP, and get a blood test. We need to see what is lacking. Is there any kind of obvious reason? Because when I say iron deficiency, which is quite common among women again, if it is quite severe and it shows on a blood test, then they would need supplement. If it is not, and the blood test comes back normal and there isn't any other reason, any other medical reason for their brittle nails, then I usually go with iron deficiency. And my recommendation is just a cup of lentils a day, for example. It's really good. Just 1 cup of green lentils contains like about 6 milligrams of iron, but it also contains like B vitamins, fiber, and protein again. And in general, beans are actually a good source of iron. And then other things we can do to increase iron deficiencies, like iron absorption, is to add a source of vitamin C. So like adding tomato, bell pepper, or lemon to a bowl of beans, for example, that would increase iron absorption. And we need to kind of watch out for those things which would reduce iron absorption. And in this case, usually it is tea and coffee. So my recommendation is not having tea and coffee an hour before and an hour after the meals. And it's also worth mentioning that even herbal teas, they contain a compound called tannins, and they can reduce iron absorption. And the same with green tea. Green tea also contains, tannin. So that is what I usually, recommend.
I've actually like I said, I've got into this bad habit of drinking coffee after like my lunch. And I never used to drink coffee.
Okay.
I think it's just working from home and you get into these weird habits.
Slippery slope.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, it's not that bad, is it? It could be worse. It's only a cup of coffee. But actually, it's stopping the iron being absorbed. So, yeah, I'm going to cut out the coffee now and definitely eat more lentils. So your question was about what to eat after your workouts, because you've got a personal trainer now, haven't you?
I have got a personal trainer now. I go.
Get you! Fancy.
Who am I? Honest to God, who am
Going
I?
up in the world.
I go to the personal trainer. You can tell I'm new to all this. I go to my personal trainer at 7:30 in the morning.
Whoa, that's dedication.
Don't know what it is. It's great. I feel alive. It's amazing. But I always struggle. I feel like it's because it's quite a quick rush. So a bit of a mad rush. So I have an hour training session back at 8:30, and then I've got to be at work for 9. Well, be on the computer at 9. So I always kind of forget to eat or don't eat the right things sort of after training. So I just wanted to know what she recommends.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's what she had to say about your post-workout snacks.
Yes, when it comes to post-workout snack, the main reason we actually talk about it is because we want to replace the lost fluids, electrolytes, and energy. And again, it depends on the length and intensity of the workout, and also when when you are going to exercise again. And for most people who are just a hobby exerciser and they just do an hour in the gym, then what they need to do is just consume a good source of carbohydrates within an hour post-workout. And because remember, carbohydrates are the only macronutrients that will actually help us restore our glycogen stores. Protein is important, but it comes secondary. And I also want to mention that if you haven't consumed enough carbohydrate and you have eaten more protein, that protein is actually going to be used as energy, as fuel, and not for the muscle protein synthesis. So it's really important to actually make sure that you have a source of carbohydrate. And the ratio is usually 3:1 or 4:1. And I wouldn't really complicate things. Just something as simple as a banana with 1 tablespoon peanut butter is enough, or a bagel with hummus, or just even to be honest, a plain bagel without anything would be good, because bagel has carbohydrate and protein, or chickpeas and baked potato and some beans, depending on how intense your workout was and how much you want to eat. You can have something as simple as a handful of nuts and seeds with dried fruits, or as I said, a baked potato and some beans. Make it a bigger meal. So really keep it simple.
Amazing. That sounds so great. I think I've always been really hesitant of carbs. I think especially with this sort of whole food, still learning, still not sure whether carbs are a good thing or a bad thing. So it's great to know that that's a nice little pre-workout, post-workout treat.
Yeah, this is it. Carbs really aren't the enemy, are they? Especially if they're wholemeal, whole grain. So anyway, let's crack on with the news. So Earthling Ed, I don't know if our listeners have heard of him. A lot of people have, some people haven't. Earthling Ed, or Ed Winters, he's kind of a YouTuber. He's now an author because he's just launched a new book. And he's a kind of activist. He runs Surge and he's opened his own sanctuary. So yeah, he's launched his first book. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
Yes, I will. So yeah, he's announced it, I think it was over the weekend actually, and it's due to come out in January, just in time for Veganuary, and it's called This is Vegan Propaganda and Other Lies the Meat Industry Tells You, which I think is an amazing title.
Yeah,
bit of a mouthful, but
it is. Yeah. He's so brilliant. If you haven't discovered him already, then definitely check out his YouTube channel. I mean, he's done TED Talks. He's He's just, he's so good with the sort of meat eaters and the vegan haters, isn't he?
I think what's great about it is that he's done his research and it's very thorough. And this book essentially is 6 years, maybe even more than 6 years, but 6 years of research, conversations with farmers, with like people who work in the meat industry, with vegans, like just a complete amalgamation of everything to do with the movement and like causes for the movement and stuff. And he's just created this book that's so empowering for veganism and also quite like inspiring for non-vegans as well. And I think that's the most important part of it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it. I went to his Unity Diner as well, which I talked about a couple of episodes ago. That was really good. Loads of new launches, which we're excited to try. One is Greedy Vegan, which is a new plant-based protein subscription box, which currently delivers to Southwest London. Sadly, we're not there, but it is expanding to the rest of London and hopefully the rest of the country, which is exciting. It aims to be like a one-stop shop for vegan protein. So, so a whole range of meat alternatives. So go and check out Greedy Vegan if you get a moment. We actually reviewed a subscription box, didn't we? A recipe box this week.
Yeah.
I loved this.
Yeah, this was a whole new for me. Like I have never had subscription boxes before. I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, so it's called Grubby boxes.
Yeah.
They donate to One More Child charity for food poverty with each order, and it works out about £6.50 per meal. It's all kind of in sustainable packaging. And what 2 recipes did you get?
So it was aubergine and apricot tagine.
Yeah,
potential. And then it was a cauliflower, like an Asian style cauliflower with avocado and stuff. It wasn't what I normally eat, so I was a bit sort of out of my comfort zone trying new things and stuff, but it was delicious. And one thing that I do find with a lot of subscription services and like home deliveries and stuff with food, there's so much waste and there's so much plastic and everything else, but this, I was really impressed by how little plastic there was.
I find they really do sort of open your eyes to new meal ideas and new ways of cooking. So I had the tagine as well, which was delicious. And I wasn't actually too keen on the sound of it. I don't know why. I just sometimes find tagines a bit too fragrant, you know.
I think I'm the same. It's not my go-to meal.
No, but it was really yummy. And I also had miso stuffed mushrooms with an Asian raw slaw and a guacamole and something else. Can't remember what the other thing was now, but really delicious. And I'm definitely going to make that again. So I'd recommend them. The other thing we tried were banana crisps. Mind blown.
Honestly, I was there and I was like, I don't think these are going to deliver. How wrong I was. Amazing. Maybe my new favorite snack.
I know. So I was thinking, dried banana. Don't really want to eat it. I'm not a massive banana fan. I'm pretty much one of the few people in the house that actually forces herself to eat bananas when they come in the weekly veg box. My daughter is actually she actually hates bananas so much that she'll run away if you're holding one. They freak her out. She can't stand. I know, she can't stand the smell. So I was like, not sure about these. However, oh my God, they don't taste like bananas at all. You would never know they're made from bananas.
It's kind of like a plantain, it almost reminded me of, rather than a banana. I think in my head, when I seen banana chips, I thought, not banana chips, sorry, banana crisps. I instantly thought of banana chips, you know, the dried, sort of like slightly dull flavour. I love bananas. I'm such a big fan of them. But I was a bit curious to what they were going to be like, and oh my god, they're amazing. I would like to say though, very pissed off. My boyfriend took the sweet chili flavour, which I wanted. Oh, I was so annoyed.
How
so
dare he get in the way of your important work, Molly?
He just doesn't care. It just, I've had enough.
This is it's over.
So I need to try I think like sweet chili or Thai. I'm not too sure what the flavour was exactly. I know it was a chili flavour.
Thai sweet chili, I think it was. Thai and they had salt and vinegar, plain, and herbs, I think.
The herbs are so nice.
Really lovely. And just not oily like some crisps are. So definitely my new favourite snack. They're $1.49 at Amazon. Yeah, Katie's Food Co. banana crisps. Go and check them out. Right, just about got time for a quick listener question from Amidio, who has moved from Brighton to Uganda to work as a nurse for a charity. Amazing, well done.
Amazing.
What an incredible thing to do. So Amidio is there. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You're staying there for 6 months and you were wondering if we could give you some tips on where to eat there without deprivals. Well, sadly, I've never been to Uganda. However, I did do a little bit of research. They have 100% vegan football team over there, which is incredible.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah. There's also a vegan society Uganda. I don't think they're affiliated with the UK vegan society. However, they should be able to give you loads of advice. If you find them on Facebook and message them. You can also, if you're eating out, use the Happy Cow app or website. That's brilliant. Yeah. And the second part of your question, Amidio, was about protein. Now, I don't know, you mentioned that you take vegan protein powder every day and you try and eat lots of veg and peanuts and chia seeds and pulses, but you don't get the right amount of protein that you need. I'm not sure how you're judging how much protein you need. Speaking to a nutritionist earlier today, she did mention that protein deficiency is very, very rare. So it's probably unlikely that you're not getting enough. However, if you don't feel like you're getting enough, I'd go for like a bean stew, had a bit of a Google. African bean stews are really popular in Uganda with like chapatis, like that's kind of street food. Yum, yum. Black beans are really high in protein, tofu and tempeh, chickpeas, lentils and mushrooms. So just try and pack those into as much as possible every day, and hopefully you'll feel like you're getting your protein quota. Well, that brings us to the end of our news, reviews and reader questions section. We had better just quickly pick out our vegetable of the week though, so that we can get cooking and doing our show reels for Instagram. So spin the wheel, Molly. Spin the wheel. I wish I had an actual wheel. That would be sick. Is it just a button? It's just a button. There is a wheel happening right now, though. Oh, okay. I hope it's not crap. Actually, yeah, pretty sick to be fair. Potatoes. Okay. Well, you can't. Yeah. I mean, what can you not create with a potato? I love potatoes. This is. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Right. Yeah. I'm getting lots of ideas coming to mind already. Well, keep listening, everybody. Next up, I'll be speaking to Lara Pappers from ProVeg. She's got all the lowdown on COP26 and eating to beat climate change. Start off by telling us what ProVeg is all about.
Yes, ProVeg International is a food awareness organization, and our mission is to halve the consumption of animal products in the year 2040. So it's called 50 by 40. And we're doing this, we're trying to achieve this mission through multiple activities in many countries. It's all moving rather fast. So currently we started actually in Germany in 2017, and now we're in 2021, and we're active in 9 countries. And we're hoping to add more countries next year because the planet really needs it.
Yeah, it certainly does. We'll get onto that in a minute. But you're not actually a vegan charity. It's just about cutting down on meat. Is that right?
Yes, our aim is meat and dairy, egg and fish reduction. The content that we promote and the content we create is all plant-based, so it's all vegan. We do not, for example, promote vegetarian content. So in a way, we are a vegan organization, but our messaging is tailored to audiences that are not ready to hear the vegan message. And we also need to be realistic in ways of that, we all want a vegan world, but it's very unlikely that it will happen in the next decade, although fingers crossed, you never know. So therefore, we're working with a coalition of partners of NGOs and also politicians and food industry professionals to reach the mission of 50 by 40.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go, isn't it? Rather than trying to sort of go hard with the vegan message. I think, so many people might have never considered going vegan, but they are, definitely cutting down their meat intake. How are our eating habits affecting climate change?
Our eating habits are affecting climate change on a very big scale. There's a new documentary release. It's called Eating Your Way to Extinction. If you have the chance to see it, go see it because it's wonderful. It's very clear. It shows how our eating habits impact the global crisis worldwide. You can also find a lot of information on dietchange.climatechange.com. That's a campaign that we've launched. It was actually we launched it in 2017 because we thought, well, there is we need a clear call to action. People should reduce their meat and dairy consumption, Diet Change, not climate change. And it created a bit of buzz. And then we thought we focus on other activities. And then last year, we reassessed again, how are the climate talks actually going on an international level? Are they even, in relation to the Paris Agreement, are they even discussing meat and dairy? And they're not.
Oh, my God. That's just...
Yes, it's very, very worrying. So we relaunched Diet Change, No Climate Change this year, this time backed by NGOs, corporations, many people, individuals are helping out. We're attending climate protests because we really need to get the message out that the consumption of animal products is a huge contributor to the global climate crisis. The statistics on it differ. The minimum number that is being mentioned by the FAO, which is the leading authority, recognized by the international community, is that animal-based products contribute to 14.5% of global CO2. But these numbers don't take everything into account. So there's a range between 14.5% to even 50% of global CO2 contributed by animal-based product, the consumption and the production of it, of course. So it's massive. If you really recognize these numbers, if you really think about it, it's just a massive amount. And we really, really need to reduce our intake. And it's so easy because it's not as if there's no solution, right? We have plant-based alternatives. They're very tasty. You can get them by now everywhere. It's a mental change that we have to establish together, and we're challenging people with Diet Change, No Climate Change to take the pledge, and we'll help you to get there.
What are some of the specifics then? So there's a lot of factors, isn't there, with meat and dairy? So land use, pollution, water. Do you have
methane.
Any? Right.
The biggest issue with meat in specific is methane. It's there are a couple of gases that contribute to climate change. Actually, we should talk about the climate crisis by now, because we're really in a climate crisis. Yeah. And methane is one of the most problematic gases. And a large producer of methane is the meat industry, specifically the beef industry. So we really need to cut down on our beef intake. There's no other solution. We currently see counter tactics being used. For example, they're saying, well, we could produce sustainable beef, but with our global intake of animal-based products, there is no such thing as sustainable beef. It's a greenwashing tactic, and we have to be aware of that. The only real solution is to cut our intake.
Right. And for anyone listening who, has cut right down or is vegan, what else can we do to minimize our impact in terms of our eating habits? Should we be eating avocados or, exotic fruits?
Well, there's so much that you could eat. There's, of course, a lot of people are afraid of, if I switch to more plant-based eating, will soy production go up? Or, a lot of people heard about the water production in relation to avocados. Of course, there is also a carbon footprint related to a plant-based diet. However, all studies, like every single study, and one of the leading authorities on this is, for example, the Oxford University, show that if you switch to a plant-based diet, you can reduce your carbon footprint to up to 50%. And That's just massive. So you'll always, if you have the choice, the plant-based option is always the safe bet in relation to the climate, and also in relation to animal welfare, of course, because let's not forget that we're also contributing less to animal suffering when we eat a plant-based diet.
Yeah, especially with things like factory farming. They're just hideous, aren't they?
Yes, horrendous.
So COP26.
Yes.
That's coming up soon, isn't it? What exactly is it, and what work are you doing around it?
COP26 is a very, very important international climate event. I think people are not even aware of how important this event is. Last year, COP didn't happen. It's the leading climate event organized by the United Nations on the Paris Agreement. So what happens is that world leaders and policymakers come together and discuss how they can make sure that we globally stay below the 1.5 degree temperature change. We're now looking actually at going over that. So the 1.5 degrees is probably not realistic anymore. We're looking now more at a 2 degree difference. And internationally, a lot of countries have signed that agreement. They have committed to that agreement. The issue now is that it needs to be clear what countries should be doing, because it's easy to say, yes, we'll do something and then not act upon it. So a lot of the talks in the past have been about fossil fuels, reducing fossil fuels. And of course, that's really, really important, and that should be in the Paris Agreement. However, animal agriculture should be in the agreement too, because it's one of the leading contributions to climate change. And unfortunately, in the past decade, it just hasn't been discussed. Like it's insane. It's the big elephant or the cow in the room that hasn't been discussed. So this year, everyone comes together again after a year of not really being able to talk globally about this. And we are doing everything we can to make sure that they're going to talk about it. So, for example, ProVeg has a permanent observer status to UN climate events, which means we can attend COP26, we can set up side events, we can invite people. We're campaigning around COP26 to gain as much awareness as we can, because public pressure is crucial. If people are not demanding that animal agriculture needs to be discussed, it's very unlikely that it will. And we've seen in the lead up to COP26, actually COP26 is taking place starting on the 1st of November. So that is in a couple of weeks. There has been a climate event before this. It was in Rome in June, and it's called the Food System Summit. And it was supposed to be like a blueprint for COP. We are very hopeful, and we hope that animal agriculture would be seriously discussed. To a certain extent it was, but it was also very disappointing. Animal agriculture industries received a big stage to talk about their take on the problems, which is very far from what scientists are saying. So NGOs were very disappointed about what came out of the Food System Summit. And we hope that COP26 will actually lead to real conversations about animal agriculture.
Oh my God, I just want to tear my hair out. I really do. I mean, why aren't they talking about it? Are they, are the politicians scared of these big meat and dairy industry giants?
Yes, I think so. I think we should recognize the impact that animal industries have on politics. There's a massive lobby, and a lot of these lobbies have a monopoly position. They have a lot of money. A lot of people say you shouldn't compare it to the tobacco industries, but I think we have a case to compare it to the tobacco industries, where tobacco for a very long time undermined public health efforts. And we're seeing a similar tactics being used and similar things happen on a global scale when it comes to animal agriculture industries. It doesn't mean that no meat or dairy producers interested in plant-based. That's not the case. There are meat and dairy producers that are interested in plant-based and are actually investing in it. So they're very progressive. However, there's still the minority. So the majority of the animal agriculture industries are advocating to keep the status quo, to keep it as it is. And they're using a lot of tactics to make sure that happens. So yeah, it's a difficult battle to win. I am hopeful that we will succeed because people are aware. The public awareness is increasing. A lot of people are not are seeing through, I think, what is happening. Politicians are also starting to move a little. So, for example, in Europe, you see that the European Commission has launched a farm to fork strategy. And the farm to fork strategy is set up to ensure that our food system in Europe becomes more sustainable. And they specifically mention that we need to work towards eating more plant-based. So that's very, very promising. And it shows that the political will is there.
Yeah.
However, we haven't seen the end of this yet because the animal agriculture industries are trying to block it, obviously.
God. For anyone listening who feels as frustrated as me right now, what can we do? What, are there petitions we can be signing?
Yes.
What can we do to help?
You can go to dietitian.climatechange.com and you can sign up for the pledge. If you sign up for the pledge, you will receive actionables. So you will be able to sign petitions or you can write to policymakers. We also encourage everyone, if you go to a protest, I'm actually going to the London protest today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, use dietitian on climate change as a leading call to action on your placards, because we really need to make this call to action as visible as possible everywhere so that everyone starts talking about it.
Okay, right. I'm going to head over there right after this interview.
Yes.
Sign up.
Right.
Oh dear. So what outcomes are you hoping to see as a result of COP26? What do you think is realistic?
A realistic expectation is, I think, that animal agriculture will be mentioned as such, as a big contributor to the climate crisis. And it would also be really, really great if finally leading politicians would say that plant-based diets are the solution. So they are more or less talking about animal agriculture, but it's always in a very diplomatic way without mentioning the real problems and without mentioning the real solution. And it would be great if that finally would be recognized, because then it can become part of the NDC. So NDCs is the structure of the Paris Agreement. All countries need to submit their NDCs, their legislation on how they're going to achieve the Paris Agreement in 2023. We call it internally the global diet deadline, because a lot of people think we have until 2030, but we actually don't. In 2023, there is a global stocktake. All countries need to submit their NDCs. In 2024, there will be an overview of what countries have been submitting. And then in 2025, it will become official. This is what countries have to do. So we hope that if finally at COP26, animal agriculture is recognized as a major contributor to the climate crisis and plant-based diet is a solution, that it will end up in the NDCs that countries will have to prepare next year and submit in 2023. That will be a major victory.
Right. Okay. What about people that kind of say, you know, we should be supporting British farmers as a nation? We've always been quite proud of our farmers. They're struggling as it is, you know, plant-based diets are going to put them out of business. What would you say to people who kind of feel?
Well, I first of all, I would recognize that farmers are struggling. It is very difficult for farmers, and it's not fair because global governments have pushed farmers into this position. We've subsidized animal agriculture for so long. Small-scale farming has basically disappeared. We talk about farmers, but actually they're factories, they're farming factories. Yeah. And governments are doing very little to help farmers transition. Like, there is barely any help. There's no knowledge distribution. There's no financial help. So I understand that farmers are stuck in a way. They are at the, you know, they're left by themselves and they're angry, and it's totally understandable. What really needs to happen is a systematic change that's led by governments. And it's not difficult. We've set up the system as it is with a lot of money, so we can also change the system. We can help farmers get there.
It's just got to come from the top, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it has to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you talk about being hopeful, and I try to stay hopeful. It's hard.
Yes,
isn't it?
Maybe I'm not really helping. I am very hopeful, though. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this work. I think we're in a moment of change. So you can see that veganism has picked up so fast all around the globe. And it's accelerating every year. So we need to be patient, I think, and keep pushing for the change. And I do think that it will happen. And it will come with a lot of conflicts. I mean, we're having the conflicts now. We're seeing it happen. And it's not easy, but I do think we will succeed.
Yeah. What about the next generation? Do you kind of feel like they're, you know, going to maybe help us out of this climate crisis? You've got the school plates campaign, haven't you?
Yes, the school plates campaign is a campaign in the UK, and actually we also run it in Germany. That helps schools swap meals, so to make them more plant-based. And it's been a massive success. It's been really encouraging to see how many local authorities and municipalities are willing to help drive the change. Because one of the things that's very important when we are talking about behavioral change is that, you know, we can ask people to change their diets, but it's very difficult for individuals to do that if their environment doesn't support them. Yeah. So that's why we set up the school plates program, because we thought, well, actually, school environments are so important. They should offer healthy, nutritious, and sustainable plant-based options. And it has proven to be a success. So we're doing this in many, many places in the UK and in Germany. And it even won the UN Momentum for Change Award, which was really nice. And we hope to expand this project because it's so needed. And one thing, actually, when you said, you know, the hope for future generations, I do feel that we shouldn't wait for younger generations to, you know, come up with the solutions. We are the adults, right? Yeah. We should be fixing it. Yeah.
So true. Yeah, I'm sure Greta would agree with you as well.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Lara. I mean, that's just, you know, really opened my eyes. And just when you kind of feel like you know everything there is to know, you speak to someone like yourself and it kind of, you know, blows your mind all over again. Like, right. I mean, what led you to go vegan?
Well, actually, I was raised as a vegetarian. So right. I was very lucky to have two vegetarian parents, and they became vegetarians because they went to slaughterhouse and saw what happened to animals and thought, oh my God, we never ever want to eat meat again. Wow. So as a small kid, it was very obvious to me, you don't eat animals. And then when I was a student later on in life, I realized there's so many more reasons to eat plant-based. And I also realized what's happening in the dairy industry is very similar to what's happening in the meat industry. So I also ditched dairy. And then I learned more about the environment and the impact of animal agriculture and the environment. And it was a no-brainer. Yeah. Especially with so many plant-based options around. It's so easy to eat plant-based nowadays and to do something for the animals and the planet. I mean, it's the single biggest thing you could do on a daily basis to help everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you are feeling frustrated, kind of, you can, there's something that you can actually physically do yourself to help, which is great.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been lovely chatting to you, and we'll all head over to Diet Change Not Climate Change. Is it .org or .com?
.com.
.com. We'll head over there now, sign up to the pledge, and get changing these policies.
Yes, let's change the food system together.
Well, that's it for this week from us. If you're feeling inspired by what Lara had to say, please do share the podcast on social media or with friends. And don't forget to subscribe on your platform of choice, such as Apple Podcasts. You can also send your listener questions to myself and Molly on simplyvegan@anthem.co.uk. Next week, we'll be carrying on with our whole food plant-based challenge with more advice from nutritionists. And I'll also be taking on the meat eaters as I chat to an ex-Marine who is anti-vegan.